Holy the internet just went out. Frickin' Comcast.
Hello, Internet! It is that time again. Time for the OOTPC. This time, it is episode 012, episode number 12 of the Order of Tier podcast. I am the Game Mage, and I am being joined virtually through telepresence over the Internet by Mike the Hammer K. Klodzinski. How are you tonight, Michael?
Oh my God! I'm lovely. How are you, Jabatuya?
I'm sure I'm much better than you right now. I can imagine. I don't even know if I can imagine the level of frustration you must be suffering at this very moment in time.
Yes. Yeah, that thing that I said I was going to fix last week, I fixed it and turned on my computer today and it was broken again. So that is a thing.
Isn't technology wonderful?
Yes.
Oh, man. So, in the interest of preserving this technology working right now, let's jump right into this podcast and get going with our topics tonight. Yes. So, the first of which is your topic, and I can't speak much to this other than comment on how probably very awesome some of these are. But the first topic is LEGO Dimensions Easter eggs. So Let's talk just a very slight bit about LEGO Dimensions so that I get a little more caught up. I know a little bit, and I think you've talked a little bit before, but just so that I'm on the same page.
Yeah, so I talked a little bit about this in Order More Tires, but basically what it is a one of those Toys to Life games where you have a pad and you put the toys on the pad or the little figures on the pad, and then you can play as those characters, like Skylanders or Disney Infinity. Amiibo's a little different than that, but that same kind of deal. And so LEGO Dimensions is a game that came out, I guess, maybe a couple months ago, something like that. Obviously LEGO. Speaking game-wise, if you've ever played a LEGO game, I mean, it is a LEGO game. But what it is you have a pad. It has 3 different areas on the pad, and you can put up to 7 different figures on it, and that can be little characters or vehicles or whatever.
So it's like a party.
Yeah, basically. And so you and then you can switch between the characters, or if you can actually do two player. And just pick whichever character you want.
Sweet. And
cool thing about it is, though, and I wasn't really expecting this, but the pad is very interactive with the game. Most of the puzzles in the game, you are actually heavily using the pad. So I thought, originally I thought, I'm just going to put this pad away and put the characters on it and do my do. But you actually are constantly moving them, well, not constantly, but very frequently moving them around to solve puzzles. The different areas of the pad will light up and correspond to different things on the screen. And
that's interesting.
And yeah, so it's a pretty cool little take on that. And granted, I haven't played Skylanders or any of that other stuff, but from what I've seen, it's just you scan in one figure and that's the thing. Anyway, not to make this a review of the game or whatever, but so essentially what happens in the game is there is a dude that wants to rule all that is Lego, and so he is colliding all these different dimensions together, and so he can create one monster Lego land that he rules, whatever. So the game, what's interesting about it is you visit a bunch of different world or dimensions in it. Mm-hmm. And what I found interesting about it was that a lot of this stuff is stuff that we would be into. I mean, the game says for ages 14, ish, but it's this is all stuff that we would be into, Portal,
nice.
Back to the Future, which is why I was originally interested in it to begin with. Doctor Who, Ghostbusters, The Simpsons. I had a list of stuff up, but I closed it.
Dude, what 14-year-old knows any of that stuff?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of stuff from the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. And the humor in the game is done very well. It's kind of like that Pixar-esque humor where it's very tongue-in-cheek. Like, if you're an adult, you get all this stuff, and then all the kids are like, why are they laughing at that? What's funny about that? So it's that kind of humor. And the game really surprised me. I fully expected it to be like... have you ever seen Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah.
So you know how in that movie, there are a bunch of different game characters, and it's just like, oh, there goes Bowser. Oh, and Sonic just ran by. That was really cute. That he's in that. I know that blue hedgehog from their video game, and it's just kind of like some of these. Most of the characters are just kind of there. They don't really.
It's just a 90-minute name drop.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I expected this to be like, but Back to the Future's in it. So what am I gonna do? So, but it's absolutely not that at all. Like all these different dimensions. Every time I say dimensions, I'm gonna have to say it like that. All these different dimensions are really like interacting with each other, and you really interact with all these different characters. And so, most of them, they actually got that actual actor or actress to do the voice of that character.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, like, the Doctor who, by the way, spoilers from now on, if anybody who, wants to play this game, whatever, the Doctor's actually the one that saves the day in this game.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
But
because of course he is.
Yeah, but Peter Capaldi actually did the voice for him, and he has dialogue throughout the whole game. And then like GLaDOS is in it a lot.
Oh, nice.
And so that, and just stuff like that. But they put so much detail into all the different Easter eggs in this game that I just it just blew my mind, some of the stuff that happened. Like, again, I was expecting it to just be like a huge name drop fest, and also I was expecting it to be very bare bones, like, hey, this is like a 6-hour game, you got to buy all these different figures to play all the different junk in it. But I probably put about 16 hours into this game, and
wow,
I was not expecting that at all. But anyway, you can really tell that they put a lot of love into each one of these different worlds that you visit. So I got the Portal expansion and the Doctor Who expansion and the Back to the Future expansion, obviously.
Right.
And the Doctor Who one, I feel like they made this game so they could make a Doctor Who game. Like, that's that's what I feel like. But the amount of detail that they put into that aspect of it. So the Doctor Who expansion comes with the Doctor, the 12th Doctor, and the TARDIS, and K9.
Oh, nice.
Lego versions of these, of course. And so, so when you play as the Doctor, you can get in the TARDIS, and you can fly the TARDIS around, just physically around. Or you can hold down, triangle on PlayStation, and then you actually go into the TARDIS, and you can explore, like, that main area of the TARDIS. So that's really cool. After you beat the Doctor's story, which plays exactly like an episode, so like there's a little intro sequence, and then the actual TARDIS flying through the thinger, the tube, the tubes and all that stuff, and like an actual Lego version of the intro to the show.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, but so once you beat this, you can change it to where every time the Doctor dies, he regenerates, and so it goes through all the different Doctors, like,
oh man, that's order. Awesome.
Yeah, it just, and they all have, it's not just like, oh, here's another player model. It's like they all, I mean, I haven't seen much of the old Doctor Who's, but they all have their own like quirks and the way that they move and stuff like that, and they actually took samples from the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
And stuff like that.
Oh,
and
dude.
So, and this just, I almost passed out when I saw this. So you leave the TARDIS, or you're out of the TARDIS. So when you go back into the TARDIS, being one of those other doctors, it's their TARDIS.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then the first two doctors, when you go in there, it's in black and white.
Dude, that's incredible,
yeah,
man.
It blew my mind, the amount of detail they put in this stuff. And the whole thing is riddled with that kind of stuff. And it was fantastic. I mean, it's way overpriced at full retail. It's like $90 or something like that. But if you can get it on sale, which it was on tons of sales around Christmas time for like $50 or whatever. But
nice.
But yeah, it's definitely worth that. It's not ultra challenging like any. I mean, none of the Lego games really are. I mean, you die and you come back to life. And it's like, oh, right. You died. You lost some chippy things. But yeah, for just all the nerdy references alone, it's completely worth it.
That's so weird that all that's in there because, like, yeah, and I want to go back and say I didn't mean to offend any 14-year-olds who may be listening by saying what 14-year-old knows about that kind of stuff, because I know that there are. I'm certain that there are 14-year-olds who gotten into all this stuff too, because the stuff that's like current, which I know nothing of, basically, is boring or just not interesting, whatever.
Right.
But it's like it's strange because like while those people around that age now exist, it's got to be a very small subset.
Oh, yeah.
Of people who are 14, right? So it's strange that it's marketed like that. I guess I'm assuming then that maybe it's made for people that are maybe our age and a little older who have kids.
That's my guess. Like playing through this, I'm like, what? Kids don't care about Wizard of Oz. What?
Oh yeah,
stuff like that, or I mean, Portal. I could kind of see that, but like Doctor Who.
But like even Portal, man, like, I mean, yeah, Portal has a lot of dark and obscure and oblique humor that and younger kids aren't going to pick. Like, I mean, like 10, 8, 9-year-olds are not going to pick up on in any sort of way.
Yeah,
they're going to think that it's just dumb words.
The Portal stuff in this game actually takes place after the second one, and so everything GLaDOS says is like ultra dark. And it's like, it's funny, but it's like if a kid was playing this, they'd be like, oh.
Oh man,
that's a thing.
Now I have to go back and play the Portal games again. Oh.
Man, I know it totally made me. I was like, man, I want to go back and play Portal too, because in the expansion part, you actually go into the like old testing facility and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it kind of plays like the second one.
That's cool. Yeah, so, yeah. Dude, the second one blew my mind. Like,
I know.
After you play the first one, you're like, well, what are they gonna do? And it's like it's just you have no idea what could even be done. And then it's like they not only do they deliver on a better Portal game, like if you take away all of the story elements, all of the presentation, all of that, just the pure mechanics of the puzzles, it's a better game, better puzzle game. And then on top of it, it's just like so much more exponentially better about everything.
Yep.
Because I know they spent more time on it, but it's just like it is unbelievable, dude.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I love that game. Love it.
I mean, it blew my mind enough in the first one when you like escaped the testing chamber.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah. Because when you first do it, you're like, I don't think I was supposed to do this.
Right, exactly.
It's like, at least for like 10 minutes or so, you're like, what the heck is this?
Like, where the frig am I right now?
Because she stops talking to you for a while, and of course, spoilers for people who haven't played Portal, and so you're thinking, oh man, I glitched this game out or something.
Right.
Oh, geez, that was incredible. Anyway,
yes. Not
to derail this and make it about Portal, but...
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, that's what we're talking about anyway. So, yeah, I don't even know where I was.
So, fun game then?
Yes, I very much so enjoyed this game. And now that I beat it a few days ago, now I can tackle Fallout.
Oh, nice.
and give up the rest of my life. So,
Oh man, I have not played Fallout in like a few weeks at this point.
oh man,
Isn't that weird?
that's crazy.
I don't know what's going on. I do know what's going on. It's called the holidays and then catching back up at work. But
Yep, all that stuff. Everybody coming back from the holidays and be like, okay, everything was done yesterday, right?
exactly. Oh, dude, yes, exactly. Awesome. So we can check that off the list unless you have anything else to speak about it.
Negatory.
Check. All right, so the only other thing that we were going to talk about this evening is the controversial topic of the week. That being the announcement of pre-orders and the price for the Oculus Rift, the golden child of VR headsets for this generation of VR. So, Michael, what do you think? So let's go through the facts real quick first.
Okay.
So, the facts as I understand them, feel free, Michael, to jump in and to clarify, correct, and when I'm done, feel free to color or add anything you want to.
Will do.
So, the people making the Oculus Rift have been working on it for years at this point, right? And of course, if you pay attention to gaming news at all, or you pay attention to YouTubers doing Let's Plays or anything like that at all, especially bigger channels, dev kits have been floating out around for a couple years at this point. And so they've been using them. Developers have been making games with them. People have been able to use them to, test the games and to just, test the devices themselves. In fact, I have a friend who's a programmer who works for a company that does a lot of like 3D modeling for like medical devices and medical scenarios, and he has a dev kit that he's been working with because he's doing some 3D stuff.
That's cool.
So they're getting pretty prevalent. It's funny. It's almost like they're quasi-release. So many people have them, but you can't just go buy one. Is the real deal?
Yeah.
So they said, and I don't know how long ago this was, but as far as I understand it, and this is like not firsthand information in any sort of way, but their target price for this device was between $300 and $350.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
That's what I heard, and that's what I was expecting.
Okay, and I think that's generally what most people were expecting. And that's expensive for what's effectively a peripheral for a PC that has to be a pretty honking stout PC, right? It has. I mean, the specs, the minimum specs to run an Oculus Rift are pretty high. So you're going to have to already have a really expensive computer, and then you're going to have a $300 to $350 accessory to do VR. I don't think it's that bad, right? Because, I mean, people pay more than that for really high-end monitors, and that's effectively what the Rift is anyway, and more than that, you can argue. So, I thought that was a really reasonable price point. Even though it may sound a little high, I thought it was really reasonable. Yeah. Fast forward to yesterday when they actually announced that pre-orders were, starting, and the price of it, $599 is how much this thing is. So, okay, that's almost twice what they said it would be, which is. If we hadn't had that expectation that it was going to be $300 to $350, I doubt as many would would be, as upset about it being $599.
Right.
The thing is, at $599 already, even if it requires no other hardware, that very much constricts the market of who's going to be able to get this thing at the beginning. And it'll probably get cheaper over time, but we're just talking about the first release here. But even if it were just that device, it would be a small group. But the fact that you have to have a honking PC too makes that an even smaller group by far. So, it's a tiny amount of people who are going to be able to take advantage of this thing when it first comes out.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's good for anybody. Unless they're afraid that they need more hype from it being released to the general public. This is something I was actually thinking about a little earlier today. And I think maybe this is the thing, that they need it to only go out to hardcore people who really want it, because they're going to be more susceptible to investment blindness or just, hype blindness.
Yeah.
because they're like, man, I got all this money into this. Man, this was awesome. And so then they'll go and say it's awesome, whether or not it actually is awesome, and get other people hyped for it so that, that demand continues to grow.
Yeah.
So maybe that's their tact here. But I think a lot of people were really disappointed, including myself, are really disappointed that it was that much. Not that I anticipated pre-ordering one at $300 or $350, but the fact that, oh, it's $350 at pre-order. Man, that means in a few years it's going to be like $150, $200. I'm all up on that.
Exactly.
So that's the stage there. So people are disappointed. People are just flipping out, really, on the internet about how expensive this thing is. So, Mr. Hammerkay, what do you think?
I mean, I just thought it was funny because I was expecting it to be like $300, whatever, and it was. You know how sometimes you go to a website or whatever and you're looking at a store and it's like, add to cart for the price or whatever like that. So this was that same kind of deal. Like, they did not say what the price was. They said, oh, the pre-orders are going to start this day. But they didn't say anything about the price. And so morning of, I see a tweet, pre-orders for Oculus Rift are live. I was like, oh, sweet. I wonder how much it is. Go to it. Still no price. All right, add to cart. Sweet. Go to look at my cart. $5.99. So yeah, I mean, I'm not like mad or anything. I wasn't gonna get one immediately anyway, but I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I was completely blown away.
Yeah, it's very surprising. So I really wonder what the rationale is, and I wonder if they'll even give it a rationale. If they'll even, or maybe they already have, and I haven't seen it.
I read a little bit about it earlier today. Today was a crazy day for me, so I didn't get to do as much research on this as I would have liked. But
same here.
Right. But apparently they had an AMA. I think it was this morning or something like that.
Oh, I need to read that.
Yeah, and dude did an interview on another website, but the main thing that I saw was that the main thing that I don't know why there was a grunt at the end of that. I don't mean to go Tim Allen on this podcast.
That's where the man went. It left the word and went into the grunt.
Exactly. Or Oculus Rift, guys. So, yes. Trains have derailed, like train simulator flying up into the air off the rails derailed in my head right now.
Circling trains upward.
Yes. Also, speaking of that, on some game physics subreddit that we are constantly on, I saw this like power sliding train. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where they had like the tracks crisscross, so this train looked like it was just like drifting back and forth. Anyway, so dude said in his interview that the development kit had a lot of flickering issues. Some people noticed it, some people didn't, and so they had to beef up some hardware in it to get rid of that. That was the main thing that I saw.
Well, I mean, at least that's a good rationale, but I wish they had said something. The thing is, they didn't want to kill the hype, right?
Freaking thing still sold out anyway. I mean,
that's true.
It's what it is, but
did they even say how many they had up for pre-order?
No. See that is another thing there.
Yeah, maybe it was like 100 or 10. We don't even know, right?
Right.
So it's probably more than 10 or 100.
At least 10 people bought them. Yes. So.
Right.
But
we can rest assured in that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess the real question is, when is there going to be another round of orders? And I mean, honestly, these pre-orders, it's really just going to be like a public beta. This isn't like a real release. And they're going to.
Apparently, this thing takes 3 USB ports. Did you see
probably
that?
for power.
I don't know. Somebody said something about, everybody's complaining about the price, but you see this thing takes three USB 3.0 ports to run.
So does it run all the visuals through USB?
I don't know what they're for. I just saw that somebody said that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Back to work.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Maybe it's like, I mean, there's like 2 screens in it, right? So at least 2. So it's maybe 1 for each screen and then 1 for power, or for auxiliary power, or like there's like an accelerometer in it too. So
yeah.
I don't know. Surely those are the only things you have to plug it into, though.
I'm looking at I guess, this is a development kit, but it just has 1 USB. I don't know what the F that's all about, but
yeah.
Oh, maybe one's for that sensor and one's for the Xbox controller.
Oh, okay.
That might be what it is. False alarm, ladies and gentlemen.
Gotcha. Well, it comes with an Xbox One controller, which is an interesting choice.
That is interesting. I mean, better that than a 360 control. I'll give them that.
That's true.
Speaking of controllers, I just figured this out the other day. The DualShock 4 will natively sync with the Steam Link.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so you don't have to have
here's the question, though. Will it have the weird Xbox mapping? Because, like, that screwed me up at first.
Yeah, so if a game is actually developed for it, I don't know. It might show the PlayStation mapping. But obviously, if it wasn't developed, if it was just developed for the Xbox controller, then it's not gonna. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not even talking about like the image of the button on the screen. I mean, like the layout, because like, so when I first hooked up the DualShock 4 to the PC, so like the X was the B. And the circle was the A. So
no, it's correct.
Okay, because that really, because I started playing the first time I started playing Resident Evil HD Remaster, I'm like, all right, sweet, awesome controller, awesome game, and I started playing. I'm like, what the heck? I can't shoot anything when I wasn't shooting. I can't open a menu. It was so backwards, and I'm like, I guess I have to deal with it until I started using that DS4 Windows, and I'm like, screw that. I'm gonna use the default mapping on that changes the Xbox mapping to be it flips this to be correct. It makes it correct with this. So
okay,
save that.
Yeah, it actually it's correct on there.
Well, that's cool.
So yeah, that's cool.
I finally got a Bluetooth dongle, so now I can use that wirelessly with my PC. So that's
very nice.
Sweet. Yeah, that's much better.
Very, very nice.
Been playing the crap out of Rocket League. Oh man, we're not doing what we're playing. So
how was Rocket League?
Rocket League's awesome, dude. I mean, I suck at it, but it's a super fun. Like, I have to literally make myself quit playing that game.
Yeah, it's quite addictive. It reminds me. I haven't had this feeling in a very, very long time. But back when I was in college and I was playing Call of Duty 4. I would stay up to like 3 a.m. playing online matches because, I mean, that's what I did back then. Haven't done that since then. But, that's what I did back then. And it was just, there's something about like, I just have to play another match. I have to play another match. And Rocket League is exactly like that. Except I think it's much, much easier to pick up. Like, you can play it for 10 minutes and just be like, all right, let's do this. Yeah.
Oh man, it's bad. It's not good for my health.
Yeah.
But it is an awesome game, and I completely understand why it won Indie Game of the Year. It's just, it's a good one. It's a good one. So awesome. Well, anything else that we want to opine about regarding Oculus?
Man, I was just thinking about Rocket League. Back to Oculus.
Rocket League in Oculus.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be ridiculous.
Just that, I mean, I'm not mad about the price or anything, but it did shock me. And I mentioned this to you yesterday, I think, but it reminded me of when the PS3 was announced and they said it was going to be, $6.99 or whatever. And you just felt the air get sucked out of the room. And then in the background, you hear a, It was just the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then there's like 3 people who are like Sony employees clapping on the front row.
Yeah. They were up standing, clapping, and everybody else is just like looking at each other.
Everyone's like, what? Are they?
What?
Are they? Wait. Huh? Really?
This comes with like all the launch titles, right?
Right. Is Ashton Kutcher going to run out on the stage right now?
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm sure they'll probably release a lower budget one at some point, and then
Well, technology will get better, and then the parts will become cheaper, and
I mean, at this point, it's not like ultra mainstream anyway. It's still people who, really want to dive into that.
Right. And I mean, some people, there are lots of gamers who aren't like up on even knowing what it is or what it's for or why you would want to use it.
Yeah. I mean, I really want to try it. I really want to play with it, but I don't, I can't foresee myself wearing this thing for hours on end every single night of my life. Teleporting into another dimension. Right. I'm all about the dimensions tonight, guys.
Yeah.
I've been to all
I
of
wanted
them.
just to play horror games, so...
Yeah, right.
That way I could play horror games with Lindsay like right next to me. She wouldn't have to worry about, like hearing or seeing it herself, and then she'd just like randomly hear me, oh! all of a sudden.
Well, I clipped the anus out of my microphone just then.
I'm sure I did too.
It actually sounded like you shot a meteor at the webcam just there, or whatever you're talking into for me right now.
And that's precisely what I do when I get scared in horror games. Okay, it's like that's my defense mechanism. So yeah, if you ever don't try to sneak up on me. I
heard you scream a few times this morning. Well, first of all, that sounded wrong. Second of all, so your videos are happening now.
Yeah,
that is
true.
a thing.
Yeah. So today was the second one. So they're coming out on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesday was the first night, and today was the second night of 5 Nights at Freddy's. And I don't even know why. Like in this video, I'm like the whole time calling Bonnie Freddy, and I have no idea what possessed me to do that. And I think I even do it in the next video too.
Well, that's why Bonnie stayed at your door the whole time. She was just pissed off that. Like, say my name! Say my name!
It was like the most ridiculous thing ever. This was night 2, and this thing was like at the door, like literally like half the time on one of the plays.
I was like, really?
Like, yeah. Oh man, that was not cool. But yeah, so you guys could check out my YouTube channel. It's youtube.thegamemage.com. That'll take you straight to it, because I don't have a channel name yet, because that's not something you get until you get like 100 subscribers now. So yeah, that's a thing. I think actually I have lost the Hammer K. Sir Hammer K across the internet now. He is frozen in time, staring at me blankly. So I may have to go back and edit this part a little bit at the end, but I will go ahead, and since that was the end of our topic list, so I'll sign us out here. We are Order of Tier, our video game metal. Our website is videogamemetal.com. You can that's really just our Bandcamp, but you can download all of our music there. You can also get our music at soundcloud.com/videogamemetal, and we are all over the internet. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Vine, Instagram, /Order of Tier. And if you use Stitcher, we're on there. We're also on the podcast directory for iTunes. So check us out. Thanks so much for listening. And until next time, that guy who just dropped off this hangout is Mike the Hammer K. Klodzinski, and I'm the Game Mage. We'll see you guys next time.
Haha! The internet has gone out. You have got to be kidding me on this podcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh! Internet! 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 Internet!